Welcome to Accountable India, the podcast where we unpack the stories shaping India's role in the global economy. I'm your host, Dr. Rakesh Verma, and today we're diving into a bombshell that's rocking the tech world. Former President Donald Trump just dropped a $22 billion ultimatum on Apple. Bring iPhone production to America or face a 25% tariff. Apple pushed back, and what followed was a $600 billion power move no one saw coming. Let's break it down and explore what this means for India, Apple, and the future of global manufacturing. It all started on Friday morning, May 23rd, 2025, when Trump took to Truth Social with a direct message to Apple CEO Tim Cook. His words were blunt. I expect their iPhones sold in the United States of America to be manufactured and built in the United States, not India or anywhere else. If that is not the case, a tariff of at least 25% must be paid by Apple to the US. This wasn't just a casual post. It was a calculated strike, backed by a meeting Trump had with Cook at the White House just 2 days earlier on Wednesday, May 21st. Clearly, those talks didn't go the way Apple hoped. The stakes are massive. Apple's a $3 trillion company and iPhones are its lifeblood. A 25% tariff on iPhones sold in the US could cost Apple $22 billion annually, based on their $88 billion in US iPhone sales last year. That's not pocket change, even for a tech giant. The market felt the heat immediately. Apple's stock dropped 2.6% in early trading on Friday, shaving off tens of billions in market value. The broader market wasn't spared either. The S&P 500 slid behind, the Dow dipped 0.7% and the Nasdaq lost 1.1%. Investors weren't just reacting to Apple's hit. They saw Trump's move as a signal of a new aggressive trade policy that could target any company with overseas production. Now, let's zoom in on India's role in this drama. Apple's been shifting iPhone production away from China to dodge escalating US-China trade tensions. Over half of the iPhones sold in the US are now assembled in India, thanks to Apple's partnership with Foxconn, which is planning a $1.5 billion factory expansion in the country. Tim Cook even announced plans to boost Indian production by 65% this fall. For India, this has been a game changer. More jobs, more investment, and a stronger foothold as a global manufacturing hub. But Trump's ultimatum just slammed the brakes on that momentum. His message is clear. India might have been a workaround for China tariffs, but it's not a free pass anymore. So why is Trump coming down so hard? This is classic America First policy in action. He's betting that tariffs will force companies like Apple to bring manufacturing back to the US, creating jobs and reducing reliance on foreign supply chains. But it's not just economics, it's political theater. Trump's using Truth Social to rally his base, painting Apple as a corporate giant that's been dodging accountability. And let's be real, Apple's no underdog. They've leaned on boardroom access, regulatory relationships, and a $500 billion US investment pledge announced in February 2020, including a new Texas factory and AI server assembly in Houston to smooth things over with Trump in the past. But this time, Trump's not buying the charm offensive. Here's where it gets wild. That $600 billion power move you've seen buzzing on social media. It's not just about Apple's stock dip. It's the ripple effect across global markets, suppliers, competitors, and entire industries feeling the uncertainty. Apple's supply chain is a complex web, with 90% of iPhones still made in China and a growing chunk in India. Moving production to the US isn't just a flip of a switch. Analysts like Dan Ives from Wedbush estimate a US-made iPhone could cost $3,500 compared to $1,000 for the iPhone 16 Pro. Good luck selling that to consumers. Apple's options are grim. Absorb the tariff and take a profit hit. Pass the cost to buyers and risk losing market share. Or start building in the US, which could take years and billions. For India, this is a critical moment. The country's been positioning itself as the go-to alternative to China, with a skilled workforce and trade-friendly policies. Foxconn's $1.5 billion investment is just the tip of the iceberg. But Trump's 26% tariff on Indian goods, paired with his 30% tariff on Chinese imports, puts Apple in a bind. If they face tariffs no matter where they produce, India's edge could dull. The Indian government will need to double down on incentives, tax breaks, infrastructure, maybe even trade negotiations to keep Apple's factories humming. If they play it right, India could still come out ahead, but it's a high-stakes gamble.